Good evening, everyone. Just getting the volume. I don't think you can hear me quite as well as I'd like. It is up. Can you guys hear me? Is it better? A little bit better? You can hear me. Well, welcome. My name is Lisa Sequeira. I'm the principal here at Tohoto Regional Middle High School. And, oh, there it is. Can you hear it now? Yes. I feel like I'm on Broadway now. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cameron. I want to welcome everyone, 8th grade families. Thank you for joining us this evening. I did want to mention that this is being streamed live and recorded. So if you know anybody who is not able to attend, they will be able to access the information on the YouTube channel that we usually view the school committee meetings on. So this is an exciting time for our students. And as our students move from middle school to high school, that transition is both nerve-wracking as well as exciting. And tonight, we're going to be going over a few things. We're going to be talking about academic expectations, which shift as you move into high school. We are going to be discussing extracurricular activities and opportunities, which are expanding as you get into high school. And we also will make sure that all of you understand who you can reach and talk to if you have any questions or concerns, and understand that, communication map. I would also like to take a minute and just identify that this is, because we did this last year, and some people were quite disappointed that we didn't go over scheduling in detail. This is really about the highlights and the highlights of high school and that transition between middle and high school. Scheduling will be discussed in the spring, and we will speak directly with all of the students. Most everyone in middle school is familiar with PowerSchool because that is how you've been able to access grades. And so scheduling still goes through that, and we will talk with our 8th grade students in the spring to go over that more specifically. This is more a general presentation. So I did want to highlight something that I think oftentimes people forget, that your students need you now just as much, if not more, than they needed you when they were in elementary school. And education is truly a partnership between the families, the students, and the school and the community. And we have lots of opportunities for parents to get involved, and that's going to look different at the middle and at the high school level than it did in the middle school level, than it did in the certainly in the elementary level. And we have 3 really important organizations that create the backbone for family involvement, community involvement. And the Stags PTO is critical, and they have their store open and a table out in the cafeteria. And do we have, Stacy? Oh, just if you could stand up, please. And this is Stacy, and Stacy Plunkett, and she is our, the the president of the STAGS PTO. So if you have questions, you should be looking for Stacy. And I'm going to try really hard not to talk a ton because there are wonderful students and there's lots of other information. CPAC is another organization. Here I have actually, so STAGS PTO. Everybody's going to have access to this slideshow presentation afterwards. And there are links at the bottom that will take you directly to these pages and to the people that you would contact if you have any questions. We also have, so this is the Special Education Parent Advisory Council, and I think we have Kara Ekstrom here. She is representing the CPAC organization. If you have any questions, please make sure you see Kara this evening. And we also have a very active booster club. So there is a link there. Mrs. Villani is the president of the booster club, and she's happy to address any questions. She's not able to make it here this evening. At this point, I'd like to turn over the presentation, and we're going to introduce ourselves as we present. So I'm going to turn over the presentation to Eileen Rodman. She is the chairperson of the counseling department.
I'm actually going to defer to
Katie
Schmidt.
Oh,
okay.
So I ruined the this will be Katie Schmidt. Okay.
Hello, I am Katie Schmidt. I'm going to be your students' 9th and 10th grade guidance counselor. So my face is a face you can get well acquainted with if you need to. Some things that are different about high school is there's now graduation requirements for students and credits associated with those. So there are a bunch of graduation requirements, but we talk your students through everything each year when we meet with them to pick their classes. So each year your student will take a 5-credit English class. A 5-credit class in high school is a class that's offered every single day. A 2.5-credit class is one that's taken every other day. So each year they'll take a 5-credit English class, a 5-credit math class. They'll take 3 years of a 5-credit history class, and then they'll also take 3 5-credit lab science courses. We also have 2.5 credits that they'll take for health, which is typically in their sophomore year. And then they have a minimum of 5 credits of gym that they'll take each year. So that's an every other day class that they can take freshman, junior, senior year. We also do not require a world language requirement for students to graduate high school, but it is strongly recommended from colleges. So typically our freshmen or sophomores will take our intro to Spanish or intro to French class. All students must also successfully pass the MCAS, typically taken in either their freshman or their sophomore year. There's 3 that they're going to take. Our teachers are really phenomenal. They prep the students so well for them. So they'll take the biology MCAS either the end of their freshman year or the end of their sophomore year, depending when their biology course ends. And then they'll take the ELA and the math MCAS in the spring of their sophomore year. This is what I just said about MCAS. Each MCAS session is 2 days. I know that students typically get nervous about taking them, but our teachers really prepare them very well for them. We also have, students will have a GPA and a transcript when they're in high school. This is something that I talk about with the freshmen when I go into their classes at the beginning of the year. It's kind of a paper that if they have an older sibling, they might be familiar with, but if they don't, it's fine. We walk them through it all. The transcript lists all of the courses that they take during their time here at Tohoto, and it also lists the grade that they got and the credit they got. The GPA is then based on the grades that they got, the level course that they took, and that's all calculated at the bottom. So we have a different level of courses that we offer here. We have college prep courses, we have honors courses, we also have AP courses. So those are all ones that students offer. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it now over to Eileen Rodman, who's our department chair, to talk about the academic departments.
Good evening. I'm so glad that you all came or are tuning in, checking in. Again, I'm Eileen Rodman. I generally work with the upperclassmen, 11th and 12th graders as their school counselor, but also serve as the counseling department chair. And as a department chair, I'm not going to represent all the other departments, the academic departments, and talk a little bit about that. I did just want to make sure that I also mentioned there's a financial literacy requirement, which just came about. How many people here this is your first high schooler that we're going to be talking about? Okay, I just like to get a gauge. So if you have an older student in high school, they might not have had that requirement if you had a senior this year. But we do have a financial literacy requirement as well as a technology requirement, and that's all in there. So for the academic departments, we're going to go through them. I'm not going to do death by PowerPoint and read everything for you, but I just want to make you aware of the different options that are available to your student throughout their 4 years. And know that we do not track the students as Ms. Schmidt was talking about with college prep, honors, and AP courses. We do not put anyone in a single track. So it's not as if a student, oh, well, you're a college prep student and all your courses will be college prep for all 4 years. We do have students who take variety. They might mix it up based on their own personal strengths and where they feel that they can challenge themselves. And that's different for every individual. The other piece that I just want to make sure I mention when we're talking about levels is the fact that in addition to the academic transition for high school, it's a transition for a lot of other things as well. And so it's really important for us as a counseling department to make sure we also mention balance. Just because, maybe the 8th grade team is going to recommend your student for honors in every subject, that might not be a good choice for them moving on. Maybe that's going to be too much. So having that balance so that they're not stressed, because they might also be very involved in athletics or music and theater or outside organizations and clubs and activities. And we want them to take part in all those things. So keeping in mind the academics is just one component of their transition to high school. So math, as we mentioned, it's 4 years of math. The students will go through a flow of courses based on their math teacher recommendations, and depending on what their final goal is, sometimes students will take a look, and it's not just planning 1 year to the next year, but it's planning ahead 4 years. We've had some students who've doubled up in math because they want to get to a certain level by senior year, and when they come in, they know they can't. So there's just different options. So recognizing, again, all this will be available to you to look at your own time. The science department, as we mentioned, 3 lab sciences for graduation. There's a variety in what students may take to satisfy those 3 lab sciences, but then there are several other science courses that students may take to explore an area of interest and electives and that sort of thing, as well as in the ELA department. We're pretty much telling your student they're going to take English 9, 10, 11, and 12. What they choose to take, we also offer a couple additional electives in that department. Again, college prep through advanced placement. Exhibition is a culmination of their studies in senior year, and those are going on right now. You may have heard some of your students talk about exhibitions in the English department. History department, 3 years of that history. And then there's an opportunity for students to explore further, whether that's an AP level, as well as participate in some history-related activities. There is Nature of Being is an interdisciplinary course that is co-taught with the English department and the history department. And the students in that class, it's sort of like an intro to philosophy class, and they end up going on a trip to Cape Cod every year as part of this course, and I know the kids who take part in that, as well as the staff that take part in it, develop a lot of great memories from that trip. The social sciences, although may fall under the history department, really a lot of electives, opportunities for students to explore what they may be interested in. A lot of these are going to fall perhaps during a student's upperclassmen years, so that your freshman next year might not have an opportunity, but ensure when they're doing scheduling that you let them know they're going to have opportunities. They have 4 years to satisfy these. So although we'll tell them, you must take an English, a math, a science, a history, we might suggest the world language and the PE, and they're like, I can't pick anything I want. They'll have room. By the time they're seniors, when I'm working with seniors, sometimes I'm only telling them English, math, and the rest they get to fill with whatever they want. So lots of opportunities for these. The technology and engineering is a great field for a lot of students to explore their interests in different avenues. And here are just some of the electives that we offer within that, as well as we have some clubs that are related to that with engineering and robotics clubs. And you'll see some neat experiments that happen, as well as the displays of things in the hallways. If you're ever in the hallways, the graphics arts department just displayed some neat kind of a concert venue type of advertising that they created in their graphics classes and things like that. So opportunities for students to explore. I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Piccarello to talk a little bit about some of the other opportunities.
Good evening, everybody. As middle school counselor, I'm here to support your students in their journey to high school. I always like to meet with all the students, take a class, talk over high school options, talk about what that transition is going to look like, and be there when they're picking their classes, because I think it's always helpful, especially in the middle school to high school transition, just because things look a little different. There's leveled classes they're picking now, so it's nice to be there to answer questions for them. And I'm here for you guys as well. If you have questions about the transition to high school, I'm definitely a resource, and I want to help support you and support your students. That being said, it is sad to have my 8th graders moving on to high school, but they're in great hands, so I'm really excited for the rest of their journey here at Tohoto. So talking about world languages, this is something I talk to all the students every year about, so I'm going to say it to you guys, so you can say it to them as well. As we said before, there's no grad requirement for world language, but if college is in your students' plans, 2 years consecutively of the same language is something that a lot of schools are looking for. I have tons of students that look at their freshman year and say, I can do Spanish 1 or French 1 later, and then I'll catch up. We think of our classes and the grades as puzzles, and Spanish 1 is a 9th grade puzzle piece. It can potentially fit in later grades. It gets harder and harder. So if your student is serious about college and they want to get at least their 2 years done, we strongly recommend sign up and get it done in 9th and 10th grade, then they can make the choice. Maybe they want to stop, maybe they want to continue through 11th and 12th grade, but at least it opens the door, gives them the option. We strongly recommend having those foreign languages for them. So we're a department of 3 teachers in the foreign language department. We got 2 Spanish teachers and 1 French teacher, one Spanish 1 through 4 and French 1 through 4. Again, there's lots of trips and experiences, and yeah, it's just great. We got a great staff. Apparently they went to Canada and France, which is really nice.
We did have, there is going to be a trip to Canada. Mr. Goodman is planning a trip to Canada that was approved by the school committee. So I think traveling is becoming, a greater opportunity for our students. So that's something to look forward to.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We are a multilingual community. As a public school, it is our job to serve whatever students move into our district at any level of English language that they have. Our secret weapon is Ms. McCarthy. She does a really great job. She's created a great environment up in her classroom where she supports any student that comes in. We've got our own students that are inviting in these students and giving them connections, giving them friends. It's a really welcoming environment. It's been really great. She's been a great addition to our staff the past few years, and really confident. When we have a student come in, we're like, okay, Ms. McCarthy will take care of you. Just get her up to her room. It's been great. Physical education and health, you're going to need 5 credits for PE and also your 2.5 credit health class, along with, you'll see, again, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but we've got a lot of sports opportunities for your students here. If your student participated in a sport and they want to continue, that's great. I always tell the students as well, you're now getting to an opportunity to meet a lot of people, and sports is a great way to make connections. You're going to be connected to not only your freshman class, but all of the high schoolers, and go try something, see if you like it. You don't have to do it forever. So a great opportunity to make new connections, to find new friends, especially because they're going to be having classes that might have 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th graders in it. So it's a great opportunity for them. Visual arts, we've got 2 visual arts teachers here. We have Art 1, Art 2, Ceramics 1 and 2. We have Independent Study, Fiber Arts. You guys walk around the building, you can see we have a ton of amazing artists for our students, and they do some great work, and we're getting to that time of year where we like to put up all our artwork and show off how great of a job they've done. So if you guys are at some point, you're able to look around the building, we've got some really talented kids here. Always popular classes too. And performing arts, we have Mr. Gallant teaches our chorus class. Mr. Peter is our band teacher. He also teaches jazz band. Mr. Gallant runs a music technology course out of his chorus room. We have computers. They do recording. They do a lot of really interesting things. They'll record commercials. They'll do voiceover tracks. If you have a student who's interested in that side of the technology of learning how to record music or do any kind of voiceover, it's a great opportunity for them. And it counts as one of your tech requirements, right? Yes. We have marching band as well. It's a nice marching band, looks great. And, sorry, I was like, this isn't mine, is it?
Alrighty. Hello, I'm Amanda. I work for Clinton Savings Bank and I run the banking internship program here. The course is a part of the financial literacy requirements for graduation. And through the program, students are real-life interns for the bank. So they get hands-on experience with cash handling. They actually do all of the transactions in the branch, whether it's a withdrawal or a deposit, a cash exchange. The school is really great. A lot of staff members have accounts. They come in and just deposit $10 or take out $5 for Cafe for a Cause or something like that. So the students get to participate. They do have the opportunity to work at the bank through the program, which is why it is for sophomores, juniors, and seniors, just because of the legal age requirements to work at the bank. But they can also put this on their college resume as a banking intern, or if they're going into the workforce, they can use me and the program as a reference as well. So it's a really great opportunity. During lunch, we have middle schoolers that are able to come in, so it's really cool for the upperclassmen to be able to encourage them, oh, you're doing such a great job saving. What are you saving for? Or even with their peers to be like, oh, you got a new job, you're working here, do you love it, do you hate it? Tell me everything about it. So it's really cool that they get the customer service experience, but even if the student is not in the banking program, the bank is still able to help other students in the school be able to create budgets and kind of get a good understanding of what it looks like to save money. So that is the program. We do have the branch open tonight if anybody wants to pop in and see what it looks like. And we have a table set up if you would like to come and introduce yourself and learn some more information about the program. Thank you.
We do also have the library. Obviously, the room does not move when your student goes from middle school to high school. So there's a couple resources here. They have to do some research in their classes. They can stop in there. There's the catalog and the databases. Ms. Charpentier is great. She can answer all the questions. And she's wonderful. So next up, we actually have one of our seniors who's going to come talk to you about some of our extracurricular activities. So this is Lily.
So my name is Lillian Cita. I'm a senior at Tohoto. I've been here since 6th grade, so I kind of know all the ins and outs of transitioning from middle school to high school here. So we have a lot of extracurricular activities that you guys can choose to involve your kids in, or they can choose to try out for themselves. Some of the ones that I'm the most involved in are Spanish Club, which I'm president of, and I'm also really involved in mock trial, which I really enjoyed last year. And then also one of the most well-known ones that we have is the National Honor Society, which I can get into a little bit on the next slide. But after speaking with some college admission reps, a lot of the things that they look for in college applicants isn't necessarily having a million different things on your resume. A lot of the things that they look for is consistency and commitment to one specific thing. So like for me, I've been doing Spanish Club since my sophomore year, and I've really enjoyed it, so I stuck with it, and it's something that's been on my college applications. And then for the National Honor Society, in their junior year, students who meet a certain GPA requirement are invited to apply for the National Honor Society. And then the application consists of the student demonstrating their skills in 4 central areas, which are scholarship, leadership, service, and character. And the students are inducted at the end of their junior year, and then they participate in the activities that the NHS does throughout their senior year, which consist of Cafes for a Cause, which are kind of like little bake sales where all of the money goes towards a certain cause, and other charitable events. And then when it comes to athletics, we also offer a very wide range of athletic teams, and we offer most sports at a JV and varsity level. And we also offer football with the West Boylston Lions, and we also offer hockey with Hudson High School. And we are potentially introducing a junior varsity volleyball team, which I think that's based off of interest. I haven't heard a whole lot about it, but it sounds fun. And I think that is all for me, so I think I'm going to the next person. But I've enjoyed talking to you guys. I hope you enjoyed.
Hi there, I'm Sally Ann Stugels. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Grants for grades 6 through 12. And this is something that's kind of a work in progress, but I can talk about it a little bit. We're in the process of developing a job shadowing and internship program. It would be something that would be available for juniors and seniors. And the idea is to allow students to explore different careers and workplaces to see if the areas that they're interested in are actually something that they'd like to pursue. So for the job shadowing experience in junior or senior year, just as students are allowed to have excused absences for college visits up to 3 times a year, the same thing would apply for a job shadowing experience. And then for the internship program, seniors can opt, if they are interested in it, they can arrange something through speaking with their counselor, Mrs. Rodman, and also with myself. And they would work 35 hours throughout the year to earn 2.5 credits. As I said, we're still working out some of the details, and it's a work in progress, but that's something that should be up and running by the time your students are juniors and seniors.
So I did want to speak a little bit to our community connections with the Berlin Boylston Library, who are both represented here, the municipal offices in both towns, as well as the Community Center 19 Carter. These opportunities, these are wonderful focal points for student involvement, especially prior to being able to drive. You can these are bus stops, and students can get dropped off at these locations, but they really are wonderful sources for community involvement, potential jobs, internships, and creating a connections with our community, which is really, really essential, and I think is an important aspect of, as students grow older, where do they fit in? And these particular organizations within both towns have reached out and really want to make sure that the students feel a part of both communities. So I think this is really a highlight and really connected to what our school is trying to bring forward, especially with Ms. Stuckel's work with the internship and job shadowing.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Miss Ford, and I'm the school adjustment counselor here at Tohoto. I've had the pleasure of getting to know some of our upperclassmen from when I started here and they were in middle school. In the counseling office, I work with students on IEPs, 504s, or simply if they're having a bad day, we get contact from you as a family just saying, can you check in with our child today? I also get to work with this great team to my right every day. We have a really collaborative and cohesive approach. We also understand sometimes there can be a stigma about going to see a counselor or getting called downstairs or just mental health in general. We make it a very safe and welcoming environment. So if there is something going on, we want to talk it out with them because We as adults, we leave emotional baggage at the door every day and we have to power through the day. We're teaching the kids the same thing when it comes to self-advocacy, self-awareness, and also teaching them too that come by and say hi to us during lunch with the counselor. Stop in during the day so you already have that rapport and connection with staff. So if something is bothering you, we're not this stranger that you're suddenly talking to all the time. So we work together. Eileen obviously sees high school, we see middle school. We also have Dr. Trainer. She's also known as Hannah's mom, our beloved therapy dog. So again, we all work together and we encourage anyone to reach out to us with any questions. And I went backwards. So when leaving this evening, these are our best advice and takeaway tips to have. Communicate, just like we say to our kids, communicate with us. Use the staff directory. Reach out to us when you can. And obviously keep us in loop with concerns going on at home. You're noticing things going on in the community because at the end of the day, we are a community. Your feedback means a lot to us to maintain that better together, strong mentality. When it comes to homework, we know that's not the most favorite thing for anyone to do. But again, staying on top of the kids, letting us know if they're feeling overwhelmed so we can communicate to the teachers and make sure their expectations are being fulfilled. Newness. This is new. It's a clean slate, right? So there might be shifts in peer groups. There's going to be changes in teachers. There might be anxieties. There might be Sunday scaries when they don't want to go to school on Monday. Again, communicate with one another so we can make this a really positive experience for the upcoming freshmen. Organization, we all do that, or we try to. So it's just keeping everything organized. The teachers are wonderful with Google Classrooms. If they're a visual learner, we're going to give them tips on how to maintain that. They need to write down notes, stickies, whatever they need. We're going to customize it for each kid to be successful. Time management. What else can I say? Everyone does it differently. Some kids power through. They're really good at prioritizing. Some of us may wait to the last minute. Again, these are things we're going to get to know for each kid as we get to know them more on a daily basis. And individualize. Each student learns differently. Each student is unique, which makes their needs more unique. So again, that communication with one another will make it a lot easier. And this is where we really appreciate any input from all of you. In order to make future events like this more successful, we want to hear your takeaways. We want to hear any advice or guidance you have for us because we're working as a team. And by working as a team, we can assure the success of all our students. So QR code, you can pull out your phones. You won't get in trouble for doing so. You can scan it and it's going to bring you to a survey. It's super brief, but again, your input's really important. If you can't get it on this screen, there's bright neon green signs as you walk around the corner with the QR codes too.
I would also at this time like to introduce our admin team, Mr. Cameron and Ms. Legendre.
Hi, pleasure to see you all. I'm Rich Cameron. I am one of the assistant principals here at Tohoto Regional. I mainly oversee the high school, but I've worked with many of your kids throughout the course of the school year. Some of you I've met personally, or you have seen me waving outside in the cold at arrival and dismissal. But I very much look forward to getting to meet every single one of you. And if you ever need anything, please never hesitate to reach out now.
And I'm Mrs. Legendre. I've met most of you, and I know all of your students. And I primarily work with the middle school, but the nice thing is that we all work together. So just as Mr. Piccarello was saying, sometimes it's sad to see them moving out. We're always at all of the lunches together, arrival, dismissal. So we're always still here to help. And I know Mr. Piccarello follows certain students around, and certainly if there's a connection that your student has made with me, just as we're already doing now. So we work as a team, we share an office, so you'll still get to see us quite a bit. So thank you. Thanks for being here.
So at this time, I would like to have our we have 3 students that we'd like to have come up, and you can, come on up here, and open the floor up for any questions. Last year, most of the questions were for our students. So if we met Lillian, but let's.
All right, so my name is Sadie Michelson. I'm a senior at Tohoto. I'm also senior class president. And yeah, I actually came here in the 7th grade, so I was a new kid. I moved schools a lot too. So like any stresses with that type of stuff, if like moving into a new environment, stuff like that, I know a lot about it.
Hi, I'm Logan. I'm a sophomore. I came here in 7th grade, and I was also a new kid. So the transition was a little different, but nothing to be worried about.
So I'd like to open up the floor to any questions. Does anybody have any questions, any concerns? I don't know, I think we might have a shy group.
You're your best resource, really. I mean, I'm doing the college visits now with my kids, and I always say, talk to the students on campus. So talk to the students, they're the best resource.
And we will have a variety of representatives out in the cafeteria. There's coffee, there, water. The math team brought cupcakes. Yes, cupcakes. So that's great. So no questions, really, seriously. Okay, but we are all going to be here. So if you're shy to ask any questions now, we are available and wanting to answer your questions. I know that the students really will have a lot of the best answers and Matt as well. Well, thank you so much for coming, and we hope that your students have an incredibly successful transition to high school and know that we are all here, and we truly, truly believe we are better together. So thank you very much.